Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Flock's Nest Sports Podcast. As always, I am one of your hosts, Dallas Reppin 52 of the Baltimore Ravens, Ray Lewis.
As always, on the other half, Brendan Rippin 54, Bobby Wagner of the Seattle Seahawks.
We got a great episode for you guys today. We got some baseball that we're going to talk as the World Series wrapped up. A little bit of hockey news, a little bit of WNBA news, and of course, college football and NFL. So, as always, let's just dive right in. The World Series wrapped up this last week between the
That
Dodgers
it
and
did.
the Blue Jays. So, let's talk that.
Yep. So obviously wrapped up. Went the full 7-game series. Was a fantastic series. Both teams were very good. The Dodgers do win the World Series. They win Game 7 with a final score of 5-4 in the 11th inning. So congratulations to the Dodgers. Unfortunate. I was rooting for the Blue Jays. Um, but congrats to Dodgers. Obviously, they're a great team, a expensive team. We'll end up probably talking more about that here soon as things start happening within the baseball world. But still, nonetheless, it's hard to win. They become the first team to win back-to-back in a very long time. So, congrats to them. Yoshinobu Yamamoto was named World Series MVP. I don't really think that's a surprise to most people. He was fantastic. He pitched 2 complete games, which means he pitched the full 9 innings in 2 games during the World Series, and then obviously came in to the game in the in Game 7 towards the end and shut it down to get the win in Game 7. So obviously did his part. Was pretty
Yeah.
incredible to watch. So yeah, he gets World Series MVP.
I watched multiple games of the World Series.
Wow.
Watched ones where it went 18 innings, and I watched ones it ended in, you know, the 9 regulation. I don't really actually know what that's called, so my apologies. Um, I watched Game 7, and I was kind of out doing other things. Had it on my phone though, pulled over for the bottom of the ninth when just by a hair the Blue Jays couldn't get it
Missed.
done. Got home for extra innings, and it was a good game. It was exciting. Obviously, I wanted the Blue Jays to win. The moment they brought in Yamamoto, I was like, I don't know
Oh
if
no.
this is gonna work out. Um, but it was a great game, great series. I think the Blue Jays fought hard for it. I think they should be proud. I know Canada's tired of coming in second, but
Yeah,
um it was a great series. So
it was. And
maybe it'll help me get into baseball next year. I kind of doubt it. I do. But I am glad I watched it. I'm glad I gave it the attention I gave it.
yeah, it was a great series. It was a great Game 7. Um,
Yeah.
which is all you really want is for the playoffs to elevate everybody, and then for the last game, the most important game, to elevate everybody. And I feel like that's what happened. So,
Definitely. Definitely.
successful season in my book of baseball. So, that'll probably do it for baseball news, though, for a while. Um, their free agency, I believe, opens next week. Baseball is pretty much a 24 or a all year round sport. So their free agency is going to open. If there's major moves done, we'll talk about it. But beyond that, this will do it for baseball for a while. So
Indeed. That's okay. We have other sports going on.
yeah,
So, um, alrighty. Well, then I think we have just a little bit of cleanup news. So we're gonna move on to the WNBA just real quick. As I told you guys last week, the WNBA proposed a 30-day extension to the players for their CBA negotiations. The players did agree to that. So no lockouts, no strikes right now. It is probably the first nicest thing that both sides have done with each other. Um, is agree to the extension to try and keep negotiating. Not a lot of news. Just did want to keep y'all updated as I had mentioned it prior. So we'll see how those continue to go. Hopefully we can get something done before the end of November, and I'll be letting you guys know. But other than that, we will just move right on to hockey, as I believe
yeah,
the Colorado Avalanche have some news.
they do. They do indeed. So we all were there when me and Dallas had a meltdown when they traded Mikko Rantanen. We do. We all remember that.
Yeah.
The person they got back in that trade was Marty Necas, and he only had 1 year left. This was the last year of his contract. Well, the Avalanche have rectified that situation and have extended him to an 8-year, $11.5 million contract. Um, Obviously, start of the season has been fantastic so far this season, um, and gets paid. So
Heck yeah.
that trade is now pretty much done. Um, yeah, that's all I can really say on that. Uh, there's more combos to be had. I'm kind of tired of listening to him. It is what
It's
it is.
fair.
They traded Rantanen.
Yeah.
He wanted 14. They weren't going to give him 14. He was then traded and traded again and realized he was never going to get 14 and then took 12. The Avalanche needed to get this done. They couldn't have another situation, so they gave him 11.5 to Marty Necas, and that is that.
Look, I had my feelings when they traded Ranson. It's done though. It's
Yeah,
He's not coming back. At least not right now. Maybe in 5, 10 years when he's looking at retiring. But
it's not
this
happening
is
tomorrow.
yeah, this is what happened. This is where they're at. They're trying to build a playoff team and a championship team with the pieces they have and the pieces that want to be there. Um, I watched the Avs game last night where they whooped on the Lightning. That's the team I want to see. Um, that's a team that's trying to contend. So, time to move on. It's a sport, it's a business.
Yeah, it simply
They
just
have other players that need paid. And as much as I love Rantanen, those other players are just a bit more important.
and yeah, and yeah.
So,
There's other combos to be had, but again, I'm pretty tired from hearing all of it.
yeah.
So I think either way, every team involved in that trade won. They all got
Yeah.
their player. We'll just leave it at that.
Move on to college football.
Yeah, I did not watch a ton of college football this weekend,
Neither did I.
but it's fine. I did watch Notre Dame Boston College. Um, it was not a great game. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with y'all. Notre Dame wins 25-10. Notre Dame did not play well. Boston College did not play well. So that just goes to show you that Notre Dame really is just better. I also do think Notre Dame Heisman has a Heisman candidate. And Jeremiah Love, he is just a fantastic running back. He kind of willed the Irish to the win um, with a long touchdown. So obviously that helps. But yeah, just not a great game. Um, not a real whole ton to talk about. Other than I think Jeremiah Love is um, solidifying his Heisman candidacy, which is awesome.
Nice. Nice.
The other game I watched
Oh yeah.
was Miami SMU. Um, SMU gets the upset. Miami came into the week ranked 10th. Um, I can't figure out this Miami team. I just can't. Um, they either are really good or they play really bad. And they've done it a couple times, or they've been really good. Beating Notre Dame early in the season, great. They had another big win over a ranked opponent, great. The past couple weeks, they've kind of stumbled. We'll see where they go from there. But SMU, that's a good win. Um, getting it in overtime. Um, so yeah, I think I don't think SMU is going to be as good as they were last year, but I don't think they took a step back either. It's just kind of that's who they are. Those were the only two games I watched.
I watched Georgia, Florida.
Fair.
Um, and this was actually a decent game. Neither team played great. There was a point I thought Florida might win, and they pretty much had a chance to win up until the end. Um, pretty low scoring. It was pretty rough offensively. Both teams played well defensively. Um, I don't think Georgia has been this year kind of what we've come to expect from those teams, and that was on display. Uh, so, not a whole ton to say, but I did watch it. And then the other game I watched was Oklahoma and Tennessee. Tennessee was in their like dark mode uniform, and that was fun. The problem was it was running concurrently with Game 7. Um,
Yeah.
so when it became clear that Tennessee was not going to win, I just turned it off. They were never really in it. Tennessee was never really there to take it. I know the score says it was close, but watching it, it was not. Oklahoma got out to a commanding lead and kept it always in control. I think Tennessee was wildly unprepared to not have the quarterback they thought they were going to have. And that continues to show up week in and week out. Um, so, and then defensively,
Just
it
kind of
just
a shit
wasn't
show.
even there. So, yeah, train wreck. Um, but they've been a fun team to follow. I think this is not the year.
Fair.
So, that was it for me for college football this
Cool.
week. Trying to branch out a little bit, but
Didn't
did
really
do
have.
other things. So I got the 2 games in, and that pretty much covered it.
Um, awesome. Well, we do have some cleanup news in college football. To continue with the theme that is college football this year, another head coach was fired. This time it's Auburn's Hugh Freeze. Um, Auburn is sometimes competitive in football. They have not been recently. He was 6-16 in the SEC, and then 15-19 overall in 3 seasons. So he gets the boot. Um, just a long list of openings in college football this year. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. I think there will be more. But it just seems like every week there's a new one at this point. So we'll keep y'all posted as they keep happening. And then one other thing in college football, we got the first 12-team playoff projection. This is just, we're at the midpoint in the season. We're going to start figuring out who the playoffs are going to be. As of now, if the playoffs were to happen today, it would shape up like Ohio State number 1, Indiana number 2, Texas A&M number 3, Alabama number 4. All 4 of those get byes, and then Georgia will be at 5, Ole Miss at 6, BYU at 7, Texas Tech at 8, Oregon at 9, Notre Dame at 10, Virginia at 11, and then Memphis at 12. So if the playoffs started today, that's what it would look like. I expect a ton of change to still happen, but that's where we're at. So if the playoffs ended today, it would be a pretty entertaining playoff. But I do expect a ton to change over the coming weeks. So that's where we're at.
Okay. Well, uh, obviously, we will continue to keep an eye on college football and see how the playoffs shake out as that time nears.
Yes.
Then we will move on to the NFL. So much news.
Yeah.
So
The
so
NFL,
much news.
the NFL had their trade deadline, so we're gonna get into it.
Yep.
We're gonna start, however, with all of the other stuff, and then we'll get into the trades that happened.
Okay.
First off, Commanders linebacker Frankie Louvu was suspended by the NFL for a game for violating um, league safety protocols. He had multiple hip drop tackles during the season. This was taken from a suspension to a fine. He appealed it, and then the NFLPA came back and reduced the suspension to a larger fine. Um, not really sure. I will say the one hip drop tackle that caused the suspension against Seattle. Not really sure it was a hip drop tackle. That's why I don't like hip drop tackles. It's so
Yeah.
hard to tell. I don't know what they are. Is really the problem. So that
Valid.
happened, but not the biggest thing. Let's start with the injuries because there are a lot of them again, unfortunately. We'll start with Chargers left tackle Joe Alt is going to undergo season-ending ankle injury. I think this is the same ankle he injured earlier in the season and had that high ankle sprain. So my guess is it was a worse high ankle sprain. Really unfortunate. Obviously, the Chargers are now without their starting left and right tackle for the season. And that's a player they noticeably see a dip in performance when he's out. I think
Yeah.
he's just so big to that offense and to that team.
Yeah, that one's rough.
Yeah.
I mean, being without both tackles in a team that is trying to emphasize the run a little bit, that's rough.
Yeah. Next is Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud left the game against the Broncos with concussion. He is in concussion protocol still, but it seems like he is progressing. They are unsure whether he will have to play or whether Davis Mills will have to play or if CJ Stroud will be back this week. For the most part this season, teams have been playing it safe and have been giving it a week. So I expect CJ Stroud to miss a week.
It was a brutal hit.
It was bad.
It. He knew. Everybody knew immediately. That was it for that game. It is nice to see teams taking that extra precaution, even if they clear protocol, to have them sit for a week.
Yeah, it's been good. Next is Bears edge rusher Deo Adingbo, is I think how you pronounce that name.
Okay.
He unfortunately tore his Achilles and will be done for the season. Um, Another really unfortunate one. I think he was having a pretty good season for the Bears. So he's going to be out for the season. So not great.
Yep.
Next is a string of Commanders injuries, starting with Marshawn Lattimore, who tore his ACL in the game against Seattle. Another unfortunate one. Was not having a great season, but still not great to see. Real unfortunate there. And then it continues with wide receiver Luke McCaffrey, brother of Christian McCaffrey, broke his collarbone against the Seahawks on the first play of the game.
Yeah.
So not great there. The Commanders are not giving my Seahawks a great reputation. Because
No.
also in this game, Jaden Daniels went out with a dislocated elbow, and that one was
Horrible.
we made the mistake. I missed it on the original broadcast,
Okay.
so I rewound it
Yeah.
because I thought it was his knee. I thought he was,
Okay.
because when I saw him laying there, I thought he was reaching for his leg, and his other leg was moving. So I thought it was like his whatever knee that was, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
he did his knee again. So we went back to see it, and we got the close up of the elbow twisting and popping, and let's just say that
That
was a mistake. That was
I saw. I mean, at that point, right in the game, I had done turned it off. Basically, it was on a separate device, but I was done paying attention. So I looked up and saw all the players taking a knee, and went, "What's happened?" And I was like, "Oh crap! Shaden Daniels, did he re-injure that knee? What's going on?" I did the same, and
had the same.
that was a mistake.
Yeah,
Uh,
just on the bright side.
not good.
I On the bright side, one, it came back. There's no break. It was just a dislocated elbow. I'm not sure if any ligaments were damaged in the process. I haven't heard anything on that. It doesn't sound like it. Two, it's his non-throwing arm, which is important to mention. It's his non-throwing arm. So, in theory, he could actually come back this season. I don't think he's going to. Think
We saw Baker Mayfield try to play a season with a busted non-throwing shoulder. We saw Carson Wentz last week. It's not the throwing shoulder, but it does still have an impact. So I would be surprised.
And let's be honest, the Commanders are not very good this season. And
No,
I think it might just be a season to just chuck it out and let's not kill our quarterback.
and you've lost about half your defense at this point.
Yeah.
It's a rough go. So yeah, I would probably call it.
I would.
and try and get focused on getting Jaden into a more durable physique.
Yeah.
And explaining that when we fall, we do not stiff arm the ground.
Or, in the last 2 minutes of a blowout, let's just not take a tackle. Let's just not.
Yeah. Because I know the criticism, right, has been on Dan Quinn that he shouldn't
Which
have been out there.
he shouldn't have been.
Well, we're going to talk about another team a little later that blown a team out, quarterback stayed in. Because Daniels had been hurt and had missed several weeks, I understand wanting to get him live reps with his guys, getting out there, seeing if you can find something clicking, even though it's not going to matter.
And that's actually the same reason I disagree with that. I think because he's already been hurt this season, you should just yank him and prevent him from getting hurt again.
I understand the logic. I do.
It's
I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. That could have happened at any
any
point.
point.
This is football. It
And
is 2 minutes in.
we
You
are.
should be avoiding the hit. You should not be stiff arming the ground. And yeah, maybe he should have just been pulled. But I do understand going, we're trying to get him back to
into
form.
into the season.
Uh,
It's just an awful situation. It's really where
yeah,
we're at.
and it's always if Daniels hadn't been hurt, right?
It wouldn't
Nobody
matter.
would have cared. But because he was,
It's like
but if
playing.
he'd re-injured the knee, people would have been like, "Oh, maybe apparently he should have sat another week." Like,
Yeah.
it's easy to have hindsight.
So really unfortunate there, but it happened, and the Commander season
It
is pretty
did.
much over now. So unfortunate.
It's unfortunate given how well last season went. To
Yeah. Man,
but
injuries will do that to you.
and
Injuries will
just
do
their
that to you.
defense is old. It's like,
Damn. Yeah.
yeah, when you got Von Miller, Bobby Wagner, Marshawn Lattimore,
I
it's
can't even.
just
Yeah. No, it's rough. Moving on because we still have more injuries to get to.
of
Unfortunately,
course we do.
next is Michael Hoyt, the Bills' defensive tackle, tore his Achilles. This is another one I ended up watching, and you could see it
Yeah,
happen. It was just the most clear Achilles tear on the planet. You knew it was an Achilles tear
yeah.
the
You
minute
saw
it
the
happened.
ripple very, very clearly.
So, unfortunate there. Obviously, did not play to start the season. Finally got back going. And then has the season ended. So, unfortunate, but this is football.
Yep.
Keeping it going, we have Tucker Kraft, the tight end for Green Bay. Tore his ACL. This one, this one was really unfortunate. Because in the moment, it didn't look too bad. Obviously he went to the sideline, did all the thing, but came back. He did end up tearing his ACL. Really unfortunate. Was having a great season with Green Bay, and Jordan Love was targeting him a lot. He was Jordan Love's main target. So that's really, really unfortunate.
Yeah. That one's a bummer. He was having a great season. And making a name for himself among tight ends, and thought it was better than it was. But
Yeah,
like you said, This is football.
And it's going to keep going. Because we have another one. 49ers edge rookie first round pick Michael Williams has also torn his ACL. Um, the 49ers just cannot buy
No.
luck at the moment. Just everybody seems to be going down with an injury for them. So, I truthfully, I just don't know what the 49ers are doing because they had this problem last year and they have it again this year.
You can't help but wonder, right? What the hell's going on with their medical staff or their training
That's
staff? Did like it feels like a couple years ago they made a deal with the devil but didn't win the Super Bowl, and now he's trying to collect. Um,
yeah, no, it's
because most teams have like a season
yeah,
of they're hurt, they just can't get it going. It happens. To have multiple in a row is pretty rare.
it's concerning, and it just seems to be all the key guys.
Yeah.
And yet, the only one, knock on wood, that hasn't been affected is the one that has been affected his whole career, and that's Christian McCaffrey. So, not really sure what's happening there.
Yeah. Well, after the weirdest Achilles
Thing.
situation I've ever seen, now he seems to be doing fine.
So, keep that up. We like that.
Yeah.
Um, and then the last injury we're going to talk about is Jacksonville Jaguar wide receiver cornerback Travis Hunter has been placed on injured reserve with a knee injury. This one just kind of popped up out of nowhere,
Yeah.
and he went straight to IR. And I don't think Liam Cohen has even like talked about it very much, from what I know. So I have no idea what it is. I have no idea if this is season ending, if he's out 4 games, if he's out 10.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what's happening
It was
with.
weird.
Yeah, didn't even really know he was hurt, and then he hit IR.
Yeah. Um, it was an odd situation. Um, Obviously, given what they expected for their season, I believe if he wasn't hurt, he wouldn't have been placed there. I doubt there's some tension or an issue. But is unfortunate. He had a promising rookie year, but it's still Jacksonville. So
I'm I really don't know what's happening there. It's that one's weird, but it is Jacksonville. So
yeah, like it's not. I don't know. I don't really know what anybody else would expect.
yeah. Um but yeah, that does it for the injuries for now.
Oh, thank God.
Unfortunately. Yeah, it was a long one. Um we'll move on to some coaching front office news. There's a couple of
Yeah,
that. We'll start with the least impactful, in my opinion, which is Browns. Kevin Stefanski has turned play calling over to offensive coordinator Tommy Reese. He did this last year.
it didn't help.
It didn't help. I
Um,
think this is kind of Stefanski's way of saying, I know the season's over. I'm just not going to bother with calling plays, and we're going to prep for next year. Um,
oh, how embarrassing
it's
is it that you traded your starting quarterback to a division rival, and he's lighting it the fuck up.
Let's start there, though. It wasn't like you traded him and he sucked. He was terrible.
Yeah.
His interception ratio was hoofda.
Awful.
You then trade him to Cincinnati, and he looks like
prime Flacco.
Yeah, that game against the Bears, we're going to talk about it.
Oh my god.
Damn.
It was a great game. He threw for 407 yards. I don't think he's ever done that in his career.
No, it was a career day. They said it.
And he was a deep ball passer with the Ravens. Like, that was his thing. Was chucking the ball 60 yards.
So, yeah. The Browns
I understand that the Bengals still lost, right? We are going to talk that game. But from a Browns standpoint, that's embarrassing.
I normally give Stefanski the benefit of the doubt. Because he was, at one point, Coach of the Year. And I don't think you can just fire coaches of the year. We saw what happened when Tennessee fired Vrabel. Like, when you have a good head coach, until the train derails, you write it. I think the train's derailing in Cleveland at this point. It's starting to get concerning.
I think so.
I don't know if they're actually going to do it, but they need to have a real look, especially in that front office.
Yeah.
Because Andrew Berry, the GM, just go look at his past drafts and see how many players are impactful.
It's pretty rough. I mean, whether it was ownership or not,
you
drafted 2 quarterbacks in this draft when probably could have used an offensive lineman.
Could have used a lot of things. Offensive lineman.
Probably could have used...
My favorite fact right now.
Some corners.
Could have used a receiver.
Just some things.
My favorite thing is you traded up with Seattle to get Shador. The pick they sent back to Seattle became Torrey Horton, who's lighting it up with Seattle as a receiver. So, maybe he would have helped the situation.
Like, I do get it, right? I do understand that the Bengals have the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. They just do.
It's not close.
But a bad quarterback makes that irrelevant.
Yep, we saw that.
So when you're watching Joe Flacco, at 40 years old, put up those kind of numbers with that wide receiver duo, and what we've been told is the worst O-line in football, however, starting not to believe it.
It's not the best, but it's also not the worst. There are
other problems there. Then maybe Flacco wasn't the issue.
No. I'm very surprised we haven't seen Shador Sanders yet, but that's a whole other situation. We will leave that for later.
We're going to talk into that. We're going to talk a lot about this game.
So, next is, we'll stick with the coach and then we'll get to the front office. The Dolphins have announced that Mike McDaniel will remain the head coach for the rest of the season.
Choice.
For reference, this comes off the back of the Miami Dolphins firing their general manager, Chris Greer. It was mutually parted ways. You were fired.
You were fired. You were fired.
You saved face, man.
I thought, I'm going to be honest with you, it's happened like twice. Pretty rare. After his demeanor Thursday, I thought McDaniel was going to quit. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought he was like, I'm done. I can't. Um,
Yeah,
and we're
I'm.
going to talk a little bit more about that as well, obviously. I
Uh,
understand to an extent going. So often we see teams bring in interim head coaches, guys rally, they get a couple wins off, the locker room and the media and the fans start calling for the interim
yeah,
guy to get the shot. And then that doesn't go well.
never does. Never does.
So you want to give dedicated time to the search, to a new coach, to these things. However, by postponing
The firing.
the firing, or at this point, like when you know the firing, you postpone your ability to search for a new head coach. You have to wait. Also, how much effort does any adult put into a job they know they're going to lose?
And
Like you've told McDaniel, so by the way, you're getting fired. We're just gonna wait
until the end of the season,
until January.
which I don't.
Okay, they're probably not playing in January. In December.
It the whole thing doesn't make sense from the standpoint of if you're gonna do it, just do it.
Just do
Just
it.
this because what this kind of feels like is that he might not actually be fired, and I don't know what's worse is holding on to him and like letting him keep his job, or not firing him until the end of the season.
I think if you're not going to fire him till the end of the season, I think that begs the question, are you going to fire him? Here's the problem. I know, and I do believe that McDaniel is a good head coach. Good play caller. We're going to talk about one weird decision. The problem is the talent and the way this team is constructed. And I also think the problem is your quarterback. And I don't know who made that decision. Pay him $50 million over for 4 years with one good season under his belt. I don't know what went into that when you have fifth-year options and fuck, what are they called?
Player tags,
The like,
franchise tag.
yeah, franchise tags. I don't know what went into that fuck ass decision,
Yeah, I
but you can't lay it all at the GM's feet. I don't think the message is there. I don't think
the Dolphins just have so much wrong, and
the fans at that Dan Marino was in the stands Thursday night, and I think the fans were begging him to come down and play because that might have been better. And that man is 50 plus years old.
it might have been. He might actually be able to throw the ball down the field.
It was just,
Yeah,
I don't know what the plan is,
there's some
but
interesting quarterback situations that are probably going to come up this offseason. We'll talk
yep.
about more of them, but there's going to be some interesting ones. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that kind of does it for the non-trade deadline news. So we'll start getting into the trades. We'll start with the Dolphins making one. The interim GM wasted no time trying to prove that he should stay by gutting the roster. They trade Jalen Phillips, one of their edge rushers, to the Philadelphia Eagles, because why not? In exchange for a 2026 third round pick.
Yeah.
This helps Philly a lot, really.
If Jalen can stay healthy.
which has not been a problem since the main injury we saw in Hard Knocks, but that is a concern. That is definitely a concern. Um, I do think this will help the Eagles, and it's fine from the Dolphins. Like, you're not good this season. You got to start
Yeah, like
selling,
you got to start somewhere.
getting cap relief, and then getting some draft picks because God, you need them.
Yeah.
Next trade also involves the Eagles. This time it's the Jets sending cornerback Michael Carter and a 2027 seventh round pick to the Eagles in exchange for John Mechie, a wide receiver, and a 2027 sixth round pick. The Jets we'll talk more about later because they did some crazy shit at the deadline. But I will
Yeah, they
say
did.
this. I will say this for the Jets. I think they are making intelligent moves for where they are at as a
Yeah,
franchise.
I agree with that. They were a little shocking, but I do think beneficial in the long run.
Yes. For this one, it's replacing a corner you don't believe fits your roster. You get a sixth round pick out of it, and a wide receiver that coming out of college looked pretty solid. Did have a really unfortunate circumstance where he was diagnosed with cancer in his rookie season
Mm-hmm.
and did not play for a while. He then came back and just never really got playing time with the Texans. The Texans then traded him to the Eagles. Never really got
We
playing
know what
time.
the wide receiver room looks like there, so
Never really got playing time there. So hopefully he gets some playing time with the Jets to kind of prove to everybody that he can play in the NFL. And I think this is a decent bet from the Jets in terms of let's bring a guy in and see if we can get something out of him as a wide receiver.
yeah.
Just because that is somewhere they are struggling at the moment. So overall, not a bad move there. Continuing on, let me make sure. Yeah, continuing on. Right before the first move of the deadline, we all heard Jerry Jones prior to their Monday Night Football game talking about how he had a trade done, had a trade ready. They just weren't going to announce it. The trade was Logan Wilson, the linebacker from the Bengals, who, mind you, is the worst defense in football, and he was benched. Traded him to the Dallas Cowboys, who is the second worst defense in football, for a seventh round pick. Now, to be honest, this isn't a bad trade. In
No,
my in my opinion, Logan Wilson's actually a decent player. I think he was benched for other reasons other than talent.
yeah.
Now, for the Cowboys, not sure this is the move to fix the defense.
I
But we'll keep talking about the Cowboys in a minute. Don't you worry. We'll get back there.
look. 2 weeks ago, right? Jerry Jones was like, "I don't think there's a player out there gonna help. These players have to be better." Really, the one player he thought could help his defense was Micah Parsons, which is crazy to say. Um, I it's so hard to look at the things they do with any kind of understanding. I don't know that it's a bad move, but I'm not convinced that they know what they're doing. Uh,
I'm not
so
either. It's
I just maybe it works out, right? Maybe it works out, but he just got shredded by Jacoby Brissett,
in
and
the Arizona Cardinals.
that's terrible,
Yeah.
right? That's terrible. Um, So I suppose good luck. I hope it yields something.
Yeah. Again, I think
Not,
in terms of using your resources, I don't think you're drafting a player in the 7th round that is Logan Wilson caliber.
yeah,
So I think from that standpoint, it's not a bad move. Um, that trade kind of got the ball rolling though for the trade deadline, and then we started getting moves coming in.
yeah,
The Raiders finally uh, gave Jacoby Myers what he wanted and traded him. They traded him to Jacksonville in exchange for a 4th and a 6th round pick. Um, I think this move made sense from both sides.
yeah,
Obviously, Jacoby Myers wanted out of the Raiders. It was pretty clear from that. The Raiders probably weren't going to keep him in free agency anyway. This way, they at least recoup some capital for him. A 4th and a 6th isn't much, but it's something.
something.
And then on the Jacksonville side, you just had Travis Hunter go down with injury. Brian Thomas has not looked anything like he has his rookie year.
Yeah,
And I'm pretty sure also just had a small injury in his game. It doesn't seem like it's anything major. Like, I don't think he'll miss anything, but it is worth noting. So at least getting in another body to play wide receiver is acceptable. And Jacoby Myers is a decent wide receiver. I don't think he's anything great. He's not a number one, but he's a
yeah,
pretty good number two. Um, so I think this works out for Jacksonville, all things considered.
nice.
The next trade is the one that kind of had the whole NFL scene going, what the fuck, including us. The New York Jets traded cornerback Sauce Gardner to the Indianapolis Colts in exchange for 2 first-round picks and wide receiver Adonai Mitchell. Big trade. For the Jets, we'll start there. Sauce Gardner is a really good player. Won Rookie of the Year his season. I want to say he's gone to multiple Pro Bowls. Has been locked down. Good corner. Never quite reached where he was his rookie year
Yeah,
in terms of like actual stats and metrics, but has been good. This tells me he was not in Aaron Glenn's plan for this team.
yeah,
And when the Colts offer you 2 first-round picks, it's kind of hard to say no.
pretty hefty for a player, any player.
Yeah, especially for a
I think,
non-quarterback.
yeah, I think we're gonna talk the Jets again. Um, I think this is management saying we believe in Glenn and he has a plan and he has an image, and to build that we have to remove things from this locker room.
Yeah,
And I don't know that taking away pieces is going to help this defense. But if it helps build the culture that Glenn is looking for, it will be considered a success.
and build towards what they want to be.
Yeah.
And then again for the Jets, getting the 2 first-round picks is huge, and then they get wide receiver Adonai Mitchell. Um, he was a pretty highly drafted receiver a couple of years ago. Hasn't done a ton with the Colts, However, he will be most famous or infamous as a Colt for dropping the ball at the 1 yard line against the Rams this season.
Yep.
Um, mental mistakes like that have just kind of plagued his start of his career in the NFL. So I think this is another just bet from the Jets of, you know what, he wasn't playing with the Colts. Let's see if we can get him in the building, and maybe he can be a decent number 2 for us alongside Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think that is a perfectly acceptable bet to make if you're the
Because he's a good wide receiver, right? Just the
needs
ball.
some coaching.
Hold on to it,
Needs
through the end zone. It's really not that hard, actually.
But
You already have a hold of it. You just keep on
get
holding
into
it.
the end zone.
Yeah. Once you're in the end zone, drop it, throw it, chuck it, spike it, whatever the fuck you want to do. Just
Get into the end zone.
yeah, you can even reach your hand out and then drop it. It's just
But yeah. So the Jets will be mentioned again, and then we'll really talk about where we think the Jets are going. But next is the Browns are sending Joe Tryon-Shoyinka to the Chicago Bears in exchange for a 6th-round pick. A 7th is also going to the Bears. He's a edge rusher. I think this trade happened because of Dayo Odingbo, who we mentioned earlier, having the season-ending Achilles injury. I think this is pretty much his replacement. He's been fine this season with the Browns, and the Browns suck, so they're trying to just get as much as they can out of what they can.
Yeah.
Simple as. That one doesn't matter. This is where we're going to talk about the Jets again, because the Jets did it again. They traded 3-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle Quinnen Williams to the Cowboys in exchange for a 2026 second, a 2027 first, and defensive tackle Mozzie Smith. We'll start with the Cowboys, because I think there's more to talk about with the Jets. From the Cowboys' perspective, this feels like another move that doesn't have a plan behind it. Quinnen Williams is a great player and will help any defense he's on. But this is a move you make to take yourself to the next level. To go from a playoff team to a Super Bowl contending team.
Yeah.
The problem is the Cowboys are not currently a playoff team. And I don't know if this move takes them to playoff standing. Now, to be fair, the NFC is bunched up right now, and all it takes is for one team to slip a little bit. And to be fair, the 49ers are injured as hell. And that would be the
Packers
team
had a rough weekend. Not sure that that's what we thought it was going to be.
So, all it
Bucs
takes
are hurt.
Is for something like that to happen. But, again, with the defense, I don't think the 2 players you added are going to be enough.
The Cowboys, right now, are struggling mightily in their secondary and with their pass rush. So 2 defensive tackles.
Yeah, a linebacker.
Not sure
getting in
that's
a linebacker.
Gonna help.
What this is, what's
the
worse.
way you need it to.
You brought in a good run stopping and coverage linebacker Okay, that's fine. That'll help at least a little
Okay.
bit in your secondary. You might not get hit as much over the middle. That's fine, I guess. And then you brought in a good, not great. You brought in a great run stuffing defensive tackle, but not a great pass rushing defensive tackle.
Yeah.
There's some pass rush ability. We've seen it. He can do it. But he's really known
But
for
it's
being
not great.
great against the run.
So I'm just not sure that when you look at the bulk of this team's problems, that these two players are going to fill those holes. Good players,
Now,
like you said, those are elevating moves, not
what I will say is I
fixing moves.
want to say Logan Wilson's towards the end of his contract. I think he's out after this year. So you'd have to
Okay.
re-sign him. Quinnen Williams is at least under contract for a little bit. So it's at least not a rental. And someone's going to be around for a couple years. So maybe they fix that defense in like a year's time. But it's the Cowboys, and I struggle having any faith in that.
I doubt it. But sure, maybe.
It,
Maybe.
it's just a weird thing for the Cowboys. On the Jets side of things, another, I think, just good move. Like, it sucks losing two of your best players. Two of your
Yeah.
best defensive players sounds terrible. But when you recoup in total 3 first round picks, a second round pick, a former second round pick, and a former first round pick. Like,
And go ahead.
And the cap space from trading.
Yeah. And when you see how the Jets have played defensively, and you consider the talent they had in Garrett Wilson and Quinnen Williams, and realize it hasn't mattered, rather than have the expensive roster,
That isn't working.
you might as well get picks for it and try to rebuild the culture and the roster you want.
The Jets this year. So in this draft have 3 first round picks and 2 second round picks. Next year they have 2 firsts. What this tells me, and then you also pick up a young wide receiver. You pick up a not great defense, someone that hasn't played well in Dallas on the defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Mozzie Smith has been a bust. He was a first round bust. But you bring him in and see if you can't give him to your defensive head coach and see if the defensive head coach can figure it out with him.
Yeah.
Like, it's worth a bet. But you get all these picks to then draft your quarterback. First of all, that needs to happen. They need a legit franchise quarterback. But the thing is, you can draft your legit franchise quarterback and then build around that franchise quarterback. Give him all the resources that franchise quarterback needs. They have a decent offensive line. I will give them that. They have their tackles figured out. They have their interior mostly figured out. Maybe you put one pick into the interior just to like really solidify that.
Yeah.
Wide receiver needs some work. It's pretty much Garrett Wilson and nobody else. Hopefully, maybe Adonai Mitchell works out or John Mechie works out there for you. But if not, you take another first round pick and you get him a good receiver. You have the running back. Granted, you have to pay the running back, but you have a good running back. Maybe you dip into that. You have a decent tight end. Maybe you dip into that. You get a defense together that actually fits your coach's identity. Not a lot of teams take this approach. They realize they suck. And they are blowing it up.
You know who took this approach? the Lions and Dan Quinn.
And I think it worked out
And
pretty
it
well.
took a couple years. It did. They started with a losing record, but you could see them build. You could see them grow. So Aaron Glenn has seen it work. He's been a part of multiple systems, multiple franchises. This tells me that while the Jets as an organization are not very trustworthy, and I understand that, they do believe in Aaron Glenn. They recognize the massive deficiencies in their roster.
And yeah,
and that a roster might not fit a head coach. So,
and again, there have been plenty of teams that have been stubborn and decided to keep the cycle, keep running it back,
yeah,
run it back. We have good players. Why isn't it working? Not very many teams blow it up.
to see them be willing to is progress for an organization that has historically died on the hill of the decisions they make. So, this is either progress or them dying on the hill of Aaron Glenn. We're going to find out.
Yeah. Let's hope it's progress. If it's them dying on the hill in Aaron Glenn, then you know what? You at least did something different.
You did something different. And I'll respect that. Honestly, I will.
And that's the thing. I respect what they did. It takes some real guts to do what they did.
Yeah.
So let's hope it works
Has
out for
the
them.
potential to pay off in massive dividends. It does. So, good luck to them.
Yeah. There are more trades to talk about. However, they are going to go into our individual trade or individual team sections. So that does it for the trade deadline. However, there was one bit of news left, and it is some funny and some interesting shit.
Some spicy shit.
Because the Arizona Cardinals have decided to stick with Jacoby Brissett as the starter against the Seahawks. Now, I do believe Kyler is fully healthy. First of all.
So, the interesting thing, right, was post that game, and obviously, we're going to talk a little bit about that game. They were insistent that Kyler was QB1. Took a day, rewatched the tape, and made a different decision. You can sit there and go, maybe he's not 100%. Maybe he's 95.
But
you and I have talked extensively about our opinion of Kyler.
But as the franchise quarterback, if you're 95%, you should be playing.
You should probably go. And
I'm starting to think this isn't a him decision. This is
I do not think it's a him decision.
I think the team has very much realized that they have a better chance with Jacoby Brissett.
I think Marvin Harrison Jr., one of the most coveted wide receivers coming out of his class, with his talent, his lineage,
a top 5
to have
pick.
The best game of his career with Jacoby Brissett means a lot. when Kyler Murray has kind of used up his capital, right? If Patrick Mahomes doesn't throw to a wide receiver, you trust in Patrick Mahomes. You go, it's not there. We don't see practice. We don't.
We don't
It's
see
not there.
anything.
If Lamar Jackson doesn't throw to a wide receiver, it's not there. You trust in it. When Kyler Murray tells you your top 5 wide receiver pick isn't there, and we know the tape, we know the lineage, we know all of these things, we don't believe you. And then to have Brissett do what he did with him, Kyler Murray is no longer the face of the Cardinals. You're losing the capital you have to say things and have an impact. And it was ridiculous. He hasn't played well for years.
Here's
His
the thing.
mental fortitude's not there. He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
He doesn't. And he isn't a franchise quarterback. My question is, 1, what do the Cardinals do with him? And 2, who do they turn to? Because I'll be the first to say, if you're going to get rid of a quarterback, you have to have a plan. This can't be,
you have to have a plan.
We'll draft one. No. You'll draft who? Like, what's your actual plan?
Yeah.
Because going from Kyler Murray to, I don't know, let's just throw it out there, going from Kyler Murray to like a Justin Fields isn't smart. You have to have a plan. You have to know what you're doing. So for me, it's, okay, what is the plan? Are you going to trade him? Is there anybody that's even going to be willing to trade for him? Are you going to release him and just accept you have a dead cap hit from hell? Or,
and it's working for the Broncos.
I will say, it is working for them. So you release him, and you hopefully find your quarterback in the draft. That is a plan. However, this is just not a good quarterback draft class.
No.
Like, I can say it, it's not. It's just not. I don't know what they're going to do. Because I think they're in a lose-lose situation right now.
And Brissett was great. Right? He was good. Cowboys are terrible.
But he's not a...
facing the Seahawks, who are collecting injuries like it's the 90s Beanie Baby craze,
you know,
is not going to yield the same results.
Yeah. The difference between Seahawks defense and the Cowboys defense is pretty extensive.
Substantial.
And Jacoby Brissett is not a starting quarterback.
No.
He has been a backup his whole career.
And he's a great backup. He is what you want from a backup. You come in, you know the system, the guys get along with you, and you can eke out. I said this the other day. If a starting quarterback sits out 3 weeks, a backup should be able to get you 1 to 2 wins.
Yeah, EQ out 1 or 2 wins.
He does that very well. He cannot get you to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And he cannot navigate McDonald's defense. He can't. I'm sorry. That's not going to go well.
So, the problem is, I think the Cardinals have just put themselves in jail by giving
Yeah,
Kyler the extension they gave him. Because they've really made
that
it.
was another one I was confused by. Um, when you have fifth-year options and franchise tags, we keep giving quarterbacks good contracts off of one good year. And that needs to end.
Yeah. It's. Yeah. For the Cardinals, I'm not sure where you go.
No,
Because getting out of Kyler Murray is going to be difficult. Now,
it's going to be difficult.
what I will say is if you can get the right quarterback this year, maybe you don't have to get rid of Kyler Murray. Like, at the end of the day, are you going to make the playoffs with him? Probably not. But can you at least survive a season with him just to make it so that you can get out of the contract and hope that you do what the Giants are doing?
Yeah.
Where you have Russell Wilson. He's not good. He's not going to help you. But you draft a quarterback, you sit him to start the season, and then he comes in when Kyler Murray can no longer do anything. When Kyler Murray decides he's going to be hurt.
The problem, the concern I would have, Russell Wilson's a great guy to sit behind. He's weird, right? We've talked about that. He's a little weird. But his prep and his dedication and his ability to study film, those are invaluable things that Jackson Dart got to learn. What in God's hell are you going to learn from Kyler Murray?
You're not learning from
How to
Kyler.
not give a shit?
You're not going to learn from Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray will still be on the roster. Okay? That's the unfortunate reality. However, if I'm them, you've got to just put your rookie quarterback with Jacoby Brissett. You watch him and how he does it. You do not watch him and how he does it.
Mr. needs a study clause in his contract is not who I want my rookie quarterback sitting behind.
No,
Just not.
I get it. I just don't know
So,
what choice the Cardinals have.
no, I mean, and that's fair. Because I can't think of a team.
Maybe the Browns get desperate enough.
The Dolphins.
Yeah.
Because he's more mobile, but he's not more durable. But it's below the neck, not above it.
Maybe. Who
But
else?
they have their own contract situation to deal with.
The Did I say the Browns?
You said the Browns.
Maybe
The Saints.
Maybe.
But you just drafted Shuck.
I mean, there are going to be teams. Maybe the Jets.
Justin Fields to Kyler Murray, though. At least Fields cares.
Yeah. I don't. There's not a team out there that I'm like.
The real problem with Kyler Murray, and I think the thing that's going to make that difficult is we've seen it.
Yeah.
Is you put his apathy out there on display. We all remember the contract situation. We all remember Hard Knocks. It's out there. And it's what you think about when you think of Kyler Murray. So for all the talent he may have or the capability, and maybe as a head coach you sit there and go, you know what, I can do it differently. You cannot change who he is and what we've seen. And you're going to have a hard time finding a team willing to buy in on that.
Yeah. I'm at least. I don't know. There's not. This is what happens when you put yourself into QB contract jail.
Yeah.
So, we'll see if they find a creative way out of it, like the Broncos did. I think the Broncos got extremely lucky, truth be told, to get
I think so too.
out of it the way they did. Not a lot of teams are able to cut a player with that kind of dead cap, find their rookie, get him drafted, and it work out.
Yeah.
So,
And now be leading their division.
yeah. 2 years into this
just
whole
a year later.
thing, yeah.
A year and a half later. Like, I don't know that they had a choice, though, to start Brissett over Murray. Don't think it's going to help. So we're super clear. And I am concerned for the state of this team after next Sunday. But
We'll see.
we shall see.
If it makes you feel better, I don't like this game for the Seahawks.
I think it's trap game.
Yeah. It is your standard trap game.
That's valid. That's fair. I kind of thought that was going to be this week.
No, I was pretty confident this week.
And then...
Yeah,
the entire Seahawks defense was like, fuck y'all.
And we'll talk about the game. Just, I have some thoughts.
Okay. Well, I believe that does it for our breaking news. Like you said, the trade deadline has come to an end. So that will do it for all pretty much moving pieces for the rest of the season.
Yeah. And then
nothing too crazy after this.
One
go ahead.
small note, because I didn't know this, and it has come to my attention. Because the trade deadline has ended, any player that is sent to the practice squad is now eligible for waivers. It used to be anybody with less than 4 years accrued would be eligible to waivers. Now it's everybody.
Okay. Good to know.
That is just a small note of if you see one of your favorite players get released from the 50, like one of your back end players get released from the 53, there's a decent chance he could be claimed.
Yeah.
Just want to put it out there.
Okay. Good to note. But yeah, should do it for massive news other than potential firings moving forward this season. So with all of that wrapped up, we will get into our games of the week. And as always, we will start with the Baltimore Ravens. Lots to talk about. We are going to start with the game. As they played Thursday night, that was the first thing to happen chronologically. Ravens at Miami, Thursday Night Football. They do get the win, 28-6. Offensively, it was a great bad performance. And what I mean by that is Lamar was very clearly finding his legs, especially in the first half. He said he felt okay, but it takes a moment to genuinely trust your body and to trust your hamstring when you are the mobile, physical specimen that is Lamar Jackson. He only had one run in the first half, and it was an option play. He did take off. I think after that, he got a little more comfortable, but it did take a moment. Obviously, their first drive goes 3 and out, misses the pass to Bateman. He was pretty upset about that. He doesn't let things go, but he doesn't let them affect him. So, but it was a great performance overall. I wanted 30 plus points. I wanted more because every other team had put 30 points on the Dolphins. So that's what I was hoping for. I have the unfortunate reality of not having a head coach that will run up the scoreboard. So their last 2 drives, they just ran the ball and they took Ronnie Stanley out to let him rest his ankle. So that wasn't going to happen, but it was what I wanted. Getting into the game, Henry had a great game. He did crack 100 yards. It was something they kind of put an emphasis on there at the end. Tight ends were very involved. I think Lamar felt bad for missing tight end day. Kind of how it felt, because Mark Andrews had touchdown. Or Mark Andrews had 2. Kohler had a touchdown. Bateman with the 4th. Great day for them. Great to see him and Mark having that connection. Always something he can trust and come back to when he's been missing for a couple of days or a few weeks. When he's been missing for a few weeks, to know that Andrews is right there and they're always in sync and have that was great to see. It was great to see Ricard out there. A lot of help in the run game, a lot of help in the pass game, just extra protection. Lamar did take 2 sacks. I've been really critical of this O-line. I do think they were partially on him. They were both ones it looked like he wanted to take off or he could have escaped, but he didn't quite trust his leg. So I kind of think that played into that. Overall, though, I thought this was one of the best performances by the O-line. That's hard to say, though, when this is probably one of the worst defensive lines they've faced. So it's, take it with a grain of salt. Bateman giving up on the route to look for defensive pass interference was unacceptable and had me raging. What the fuck do you mean? At that point, by the way, it becomes an uncatchable ball, which means it can't be pass interference. At best, it can be holding. But the refs, amazingly enough, don't like being yelled at how to do their job. Completely unacceptable. Completely unnecessary. Didn't help. Actually went the other way. Not sure where we got that idea. I've never seen Bateman do that before. I would like to never see it again. That's how I feel. Oh. Zay Flowers is having a rough few weeks. It's been a lot of drop balls. A lot of them. Hitting him directly in the hands and just not being able to haul it in. I do feel like Lamar gave him a couple chances. He did have some catches, but very quickly Lamar focused on his tight ends. And I think Zay's going to need to figure it out if he wants to get back to being a pivotal member of this offense. We saw Keaton Mitchell out there again. That was great to see. We're seeing a little bit less of Justice Hill right now, and we're seeing more Keaton. I love seeing Keaton out there. I think he should be getting more playing time, more reps. Obviously, Justice Hill's a great running back, so I don't want him to go anywhere. It's a crowded room, but it was good to see him out there. Player of the game, I am going to go Lamar. He had more touchdowns than incompletions on the day. He had a perfect passer rating, and once he found his legs and he was able to take off, had a great game. No interceptions, no fumbles, even on the 2 sacks he took. Just great to have him out there. Great to see. Defensively, it was an okay performance. We are still struggling in the passing game. I think there were more mistakes from Tua than great plays by the defense. It was their best takeaway performance with 3. You had the forced fumble. You had 2 forced fumbles and an interception. So that was great to see. That's something they've really struggled with this season. Something they've um, not been able to execute. That was really great. I'm glad to see them finally getting pressure, but I still feel like Van Noy's been a little absent. But they did end the day with multiple sacks on Tua. I do think some credit to that goes to Tua's O-line. I'm not convinced it was all the Ravens doing. And then as for the tripping call, it was bullshit. I do apologize to the Dolphins and to Miami. It was not a call that should have been made. It was not tripping. Um, while I enjoy calls that go my way, I want a game called correctly and fairly. So while yes, the Dolphins did only put up 6 points, they did have a missed field goal, and they did have a bullshit call that ended a drive where instead it would have been 1st and goal at like the 4-yard line. So not so sure this is how the game should have ended score-wise. I do still think there's a lot of work to be done. They did make some changes defensively, and we're going to talk about that here in a moment. Overall, though, it was a good game. It's just good to see the offense back out there with Lamar. It was a more creative game plan and play calling than we've seen in a while. That was great to see. That was exciting to see. I think this team has a real shot to go on a run, but still need improvements. Some of the things that they did and that are going to impact this team is some cleanup news we'll get into. The NFL has fined the Baltimore Ravens $100,000 for violating the league's injury report policy by incorrectly listing quarterback Lamar Jackson's practice participation status on Friday, October 24th. This decision was made because after their investigation, the NFL determined it was negligence, not intentional misinformation. It was a mistake, or the penalty would have been a lot higher. I thought there was a potential they were going to lose a draft pick. So the fine, I do think, is appropriate. To kick off their trades, they did trade away Jair Alexander on Friday, I believe. Friday or Saturday, to the Philadelphia Eagles. This clears up about $2 million in cap space. They get a 6th-round draft pick for 2026, which now brings their count to 8 2026 draft picks. Look, this had a few pieces to it. Jair was a healthy scratch multiple weeks. The coaches have raved about him, but he hasn't been high on the depth chart. They've been playing more safeties with Hamilton, Starks, and Aloni. And then quarterbacks, he was maybe 4th or 5th, and he didn't play special teams. This was a decision to try and get him playing time where they couldn't in Baltimore. So I respect it. I'm not bothered by it. He hasn't really contributed. Now, he was 4th or 5th on the depth chart. They were struggling in the secondary. I don't know if he would have helped or not. Next trade piece, the Ravens traded for Tennessee Titans outside linebacker Draymond Jones. Really hoping that's going to help the pass rush. He has been their best pass rusher in Tennessee, but they're not a good team. So it's kind of hard to know. He's talented. Whether or not it will matter, not sure.
I do have one question.
Go ahead.
Do the Ravens play a similar system to McDonald?
Yes.
Okay. Because when Draymond Jones was in Seattle last year, he did not have the sack production you would
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
Just want to put that out there.
I'm hoping that this trade was made with a few phone calls that led up to it.
One of them should have been
I'm not sure that they need him to get the sacks, but to allow a little pressure and to take a little heat off Van Noy.
And you know what?
Because with Matabike down, they haven't been able to replace that presence. And so Van Noy's kind of drawing up all of that attention. And I think it's just to help.
And I will say, Draymond Jones was a very good rotational guy.
Yeah.
When he was with Seattle, he could play inside, he could play outside. He tend to play more on the outside. But if you needed him to, he could play a bit more in that interior role. Like he didn't have the production you would want, but I still felt like he was good against the run. He could get pressure at times, and occasionally he'd end up with a sack.
Based off what I'm seeing, I think the goal is to put him on the interior, free up Van Noy a little bit, and free up Hamilton. Because I'm not sure what defenses see when they look at Kyle Hamilton, but leaving him as a free rusher consistently is probably a mistake. Now, I'm appreciating it, but it's a mistake.
Oh no, it's a mistake.
But so if you can free Hamilton out of the run and out of that middle, I think that's the goal. And I think it's to take a little bit. Right now, the sole focus is on Van Noy. And I think with an addition, no matter how excellent or not, is you free up Van Noy a little bit.
Okay.
With those moves, they did have to make an additional roster move. The Ravens did release safety Sanusi Kane, 7th round pick from 2024. He has been a good special teams player, but Keandre Jackson has kind of taken over and won that position from Kane. I am not surprised by this. He hasn't contributed the way I think he had hoped and the team had hoped. And despite being 3-5, this team has every expectation of trying to win the division. And that got a lot easier this week. But seeing their performance against the Dolphins and the Bears, and seeing more mistakes by the opposing team rather than successes by the Ravens, means changes needed to be made. Luckily, the Ravens organization has never been a we're going to die on this hill. They will happily cut players, they will happily make trades, and do the things they need to do to get to where they need to be. I don't know if these moves will do that. I have theories on what these players can contribute and what this can mean. We will wait and see. But for a team that has been in shambles to be active at the trade deadline as a fan is all that I can ask for. Is to see every member of this team making effort from top down. And that shows. And I think that's what makes the Ravens organization what they are. And that's why I continue to have faith. They did draw some luck with the win Thursday and the Bengals loss and the Browns loss. They are now second in the division. So in a matter of 6 days with Lamar back, they have climbed from last to second. Unfortunately, the Colts had to fuck about. So we didn't quite get as far as we would have liked. But a lot of division games end of the Ravens' schedule. Again, they have to pretty well go undefeated at this point, and pray for a Steelers collapse. But we pretty much do that every year, so it doesn't matter. Good things, exciting things, hoping they have an impact. I know the story still wanted to be this week. The locker room and the lack of things and toys and games in the locker room. I'm pretty well moved on. He took him out. That was a decision Lamar made by himself. I respect it. A reporter asked what it would take to get them back, and Lamar said, "We'll find out next year. They're not coming back." This is what it is. This is what he wants. This is how he wants his locker room to operate right now. A 7-year vet having one of the worst starts to their season and still trying to make the Super Bowl for the first time in his career. Pretty well fucking over it. He doesn't want a ping pong table in the locker room. That's his call to make. Lamar leads this team. Lamar is the soul of this team. I trust it. We're rolling with it. No ping pong. Got it. We can move on. It's not the most interesting thing about the Ravens. It's not the most important thing. I think the most interesting thing is having missed multiple games. As of Thursday night, he had more touchdown passes than Mahomes and Josh Allen. I find that to be far more interesting than the ping pong table. So, let's talk about that. Let's talk about how not a good passer can't throw the ball. How my quarterback is just not as good as they are through 3 games because he missed several. Had a better passer rating, more touchdowns than the darlings of the NFL. Let's talk about that. I'm not bitter. Cool, I'm moving on. The Ravens, nope, we'll wait. So that does do it for Ravens football for right now. Was great to see him out there. Again, I think playing Thursday is why he did not play the Sunday before. And now they get 10 days to rest before going into their next game. They do play Thursday night again. They do still play a Thursday night game. I believe Thanksgiving against Cincinnati. So they are one of the teams to have multiple this year. But hopefully these changes will help.
Fair enough.
We will kick it then to Seattle.
Yeah.
And their big game.
We'll start.
Impressively boring to watch.
Yeah, we'll actually start because we had some news that happened before the game that we'll quickly cover. 2 things: bad injury news. They placed Julian Love and Eric Saubert on injured reserve prior to the game. So that was game 1 of their minimum 4. they have to miss. Um, Julian Love was the hamstring he had earlier in the season that was keeping him out. Apparently, during the bye week, he had a setback. It's really unfortunate, but it happens. Um, and then Eric Saubert was a calf injury that happened during the last game prior to this one. So, not great. They did at least get Robbie Oots back. He played and was activated for the game, and then they signed Jarek Reed to the 53-man roster for the game. Um, and then they had two call-ups, Cody White and Ricky White. So that was prior to the game. Nothing major there. Um, and then during the game, the Seahawks win 38-14. This is probably their best performance of the year overall. They kind of just kicked the shit out of Washington.
Literally.
Yeah,
Literally.
yeah, they kicked the shit out of Washington. Offensively, Sam Darnold had probably one of the most impressive first halves I've ever watched from a player.
Yep.
Went 17 for 17, had 4 touchdowns, 280 something yards at the half. That's some guys' game totals.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a
so just
game total kind of stat line.
that was fantastic. Again, 17 for 17. I believe that is a franchise record for most completions to start a game, which is impressive. It it just seemed like everything Seattle wanted to do, they did. JSN was involved. Looked like he could not be guarded. Torrey Horton had 2 touchdowns. Had the first touchdown of the game and the third, or had the first and second touchdown of the game. Elijah Arroyo, our rookie tight end, had his first career touchdown. That thing was pretty good. And then Cody White getting called up for the practice squad. The 4-year vet that is kind of just bounced around. He gets his first career touchdown on the 60-yard catch and run touchdown, which was awesome to see. And then AJ Barner in the second half added a rushing touchdown after running the tush push. I'm glad Seattle's at least doing it while they can. You know, I think it's going to be banned. It's nice to see that we're at least able to run it with some success. So that's cool. I don't really know where to go this one. The offense was just dominant. Sam Darnold did have the one interception. To be fair, it was not a good interception, but at that point they were winning 28 or 31-7. And to be honest, the way he was playing, I don't really care that he threw it. I thought he could make the play. I think he thought he could make the play. He just missed it. It is what it is. When you're up that much, it doesn't really matter. He was playing so well. It is unfortunate. It's a mistake you don't really want to see, but it happens. And then JSN was still JSN. He was great. I think my favorite play of the game was Elijah Arroyo's touchdown because they get the fumble recovery off of the Commanders' kick return, which is awesome. And then they proceed to throw a one-play touchdown to Arroyo. But if you watch the play, JSN's wide open for another touchdown. Darnold could pick who he threw the ball to, and it would have ended in a touchdown. JSN just completely cooked his defender off the line of scrimmage. Didn't matter. He didn't get the football because Elijah Arroyo was also open for a touchdown. But it was just awesome to see. JSN just continues to be open. It's awesome. He's on pace for over 2,000 yards this season. He would be the first player to ever have 2,000 receiving yards if he can hold the pace he's currently on. That is with an extra game, obviously, compared to Calvin Johnson, who currently holds the record, but it would still be awesome to get that. So yeah, defensively, they were dominant again. It just like this defense is good. There's not much more to say. Obviously, they did give up 2 touchdowns, but one of them was in the late in the first half. They gave it up. Jay Daniels ended up rushing it in. It is what it is. Um, but they again look great. Ty Okada had a fantastic interception on the sideline. That was awesome. He was coming in to fill in for Julian Love, so it's great to see him getting some good moments. The other touchdown they gave up was in the second half in garbage time. Right after Jaden Daniels went out of the game, actually, they ended up giving him up the touchdown. So that sucked. But all in all, continued to be dominant. This game was won at the half. There's really not much else to it. The only concerning thing from this game was that Ernest Jones went out with a knee injury. Everything we've heard so far is it's not season ending, but we'll see how it goes, is the quote from McDonald following the game, immediately after the game and on Monday during his press availability. So it's not season ending, but we'll see how it goes. We're going to have more information today, I assume, with injury reports coming out. This is big news. Not having Ernest Jones, who's the quarterback of the defense, could be a problem. But hopefully it's nothing major. If I had to guess, and this is just me guessing, it's an MCL sprain. He's going to miss like 2 weeks. That's my guess. Hopefully he misses nothing. Best case scenario, he misses nothing. Worst case is he misses 2 weeks and he's not there for the Rams game, which would be unfortunate. For my offensive player of the game, I'm taking Sam Darnold. He was fantastic the whole game. Shout out to Torrey Horton, who came in and had a great game, stepped up. Without Cooper Kupp, Jake Bobo, Derek Young were all out this game. The receiver corps was a mess, which is why Cody White and Ricky White were called up. Forgot to mention that Cooper Kupp, Bobo, and Derek Young all didn't play. So it was great to see Torrey Horton and Elijah Arroyo step up. I actually called it in my preview show. I'm a little proud of myself. I was like, if the Seahawks are going to do well on offense, Horton and Arroyo are going to have to step up, and they did. So that was nice. And then defensive player of the game, I have Leonard Williams. I thought he was just all over the place. He continues to be just that dominant force on the defensive line for the Seahawks, which is awesome. In my preview video, I had the Seahawks winning. I did not have them winning like this, so that was awesome. I had the game a little closer, but I'm glad it was a uneventful win. We have talked about the Seahawks not going to end the game and trying to put teams away early. Today, they did it. This was a very similar game to what happened with the Texans, where the Seahawks went up by 14 early, got the ball with the chance to go up 21, didn't take advantage. This time around, they got up to 14, get the ball back to go up 21, and immediately throw a dagger touchdown. It was awesome to see. Something I've been wanting to see from this team. They didn't try any of the stupid bullshit. They kept it vanilla. They kept it within what they're capable of, and they had a fantastic game. So, that was all great. That was it for the game. Now, on to the trade deadline, because the Seahawks did make a move. The Seahawks traded for Saints wide receiver Rashid Shaheed. They're giving up a 2026 fourth and a 2026 fifth. Overall, I think this is a good trade. Shaheed is 27 years old. He is in the last year of his deal, so he could just be a rental. I'm hoping, based on everything I'm hearing, they want to keep him long term as a option for Darnold. He played in New Orleans last year. Kubiak was the offensive coordinator. Um, if we remember the beginning of the season last year, he was having a season. I want to say someone did it. If he had played 17 games that season, because he did get hurt, he would have had like 9 touchdowns, almost 1,000 yards. I can't remember how many catches it was now, but anyway, he was having a great production with Clint Kubiak. Um, so that's awesome. This was Kubiak's guy. I think this is someone Kubiak really wanted in the building, and I think that's kind of why this trade was made. Um, what the trade means for the Seahawks? Um, this is your deep threat. This is the guy that's going to stretch defenses out. I think this is going to be key for the Seahawks. We've seen a lot of teams play single high safety on us, and it's made it running the football a little harder. It makes it so there's more people in the box. It's made potentially doubling JSN a little easier. It's made it a little harder to get him the football. It's just stunted what this offense could do. They have a player now that can really take the top off, that you have to account for being able to just run by you. I like Torrey Horton, and I thought that's what Torrey Horton would be. He just hasn't quite been that yet. He is a rookie, and that's fine, and he's been doing really well. He has a lot of touchdowns, but most of his touchdowns have come within the red zone, within a certain area. Rashid Shaheed gives you the ability to go deep. He's known for getting 60-plus yard touchdowns. He's a fast player. I think that's really important. With Kupp, Bobo, and Young's injuries, this wide receiver core was pretty weak, all things considered. I like Cody White. I like Torrey Horton. And obviously you have JSN. Now you at least have a solidified, true number 2 we've seen for a long time in the NFL. So that's great. It will mean less targets for Horton. I don't love that, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. If the wide receiver room is fully healthy, I think Rashid Shaheed slides into wide receiver 2 for the team. So I think it would be JSN, Rashid Shaheed, Cooper Kupp, Torrey Horton, and then Bobo and Young. So I think that's the important thing there. Not really sure how long Cooper Kupp's going to be out. Not sure how long Bobo or Young's going to be out. So I think that's also why this move happened, is you need help at wide receiver with those injuries. I think he will factor into kick and punt return. He's a good returner. He was an All-Pro 2 years ago as a kick returner. So I think that will help. Obviously, Derek Young had been doing that for most of the season. He's hurt, so I think he'll fill in there. I don't think he'll fill in at punt return because I think Torrey Horton has that pretty solidified right now. So that's great. I like this trade a lot. I think this gives Seattle's offense, who's already really explosive and really good, the piece it was missing. And that is a deep threat, someone that can just take the top off, is extremely fast. And from everything I've seen, he's one of the best deep ball receivers in the NFL. And he's going to one of the best deep ball throwers in the NFL. So I cannot wait to see him play. I'm really excited. I think this is a good move. A 4th and a 5th for this team doesn't matter. They have aspirations. They are currently winning the division. They've got to go all out, and this is a move to do it. This is not the move I thought they would make, but I'm happy with the move they did make. So, I'm excited to see Shaheed. And yeah, I've got a need for Shaheed. That I did not make that one up. That one was, I don't even remember who, but I thought it was funny. And yeah. So,
No, it's good. This team has a very high ceiling. this year. When you look at the state of the NFC, with how well they've played offensively and defensively, we talked about moves you make to help push you over the edge. And it sounds like this definitely has the potential to do that. So,
Yeah, that does it for the Seahawks. Pretty
nice.
excited.
Nice. Well, with all of that, we will move into our games of the week. I had Patriots Falcons. This was kind of a boring game. Falcons played better with Penix in, unsurprisingly, but are still not playing well. Also confused on why we refuse to run Bijan Robinson. I'm just not sure what's happening there. I really don't. I don't.
My fantasy team would like you to run Bijan Robinson. That's just all I'm gonna say.
I think this game was more about Drake May, and that's kind of the story right now. He's playing phenomenally well, and finishing games out, game-winning drives. These are things you want to see from franchise quarterbacks, and to be seeing them from him so early has been fantastic. You can say whatever the fuck you like about Josh McDaniel not being a good head coach, and he's not. There's plenty of evidence for that.
But he's a
What
good
he can do
coordinator.
with quarterback, though, is very fucking impressive. Obviously, Patriots got the win 24-23. I think defensively it was a little closer than they wanted it to be. And we saw, I think, one of the better defensive performances from the Falcons than we've seen. But it was a decent game. I think the story right now really is Drake May.
And that's fair.
And how well he's playing. And I believe they currently have the lead in the division. So Josh Allen and the Bills have actual competition right now. And it will be interesting to see how that continues to play out this year.
Yeah. My game of the week was the Vikings and Lions game. This one was an interesting one, actually. The Vikings win 27-24. This was McCarthy's first start back since he got hurt. And he actually looked pretty decent against a really good Lions team. Had a passing touchdown, had 2 rushing touchdowns. I felt like he was moving the ball, had the team in the lead. I just thought he played he had 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. That was my bad. But I thought he was playing really well. I'm not sure. Like, it finally looked like the Vikings got their whole team together again. Where, like, the defense was playing well, the offense was doing what it does enough. With Jefferson, Addison, and TJ Hawkinson. On the Lions side, this is a rough one. This is a team that you should not lose to. This is a division rival. You are at home. This is a rough game for the Lions. It didn't seem like that offense could get going. Like, Jared Goff had a good game. He didn't really turn the ball over. It just seemed like the rushing attack couldn't get going. Jahmyr Gibbs was held to 25 yards. Montgomery was held to 40 yards, and he fumbled. It was just such a weird game, honestly. Like, it just seemed like the roles flipped.
Yeah.
Where I thought the team I expected to struggle played a good game, and the team I expected to play a good game struggled. And that was weird. I guess it just goes to show you that the Vikings are a good team, and as long as they get competent quarterback play, they're gonna be pretty good. And if JJ McCarthy can just continue this kind of play, where he's efficient, he did have an interception. But if he can just be relatively efficient and they can run the ball, Minnesota won't be bad. And they'll at least win games. But uh, yeah, and then for the Lions, this is a rough one. This is a game you can't really lose because this is going to hurt your chances at the division in a pretty stacked NFC North currently. Um, you obviously have Green Bay, who did just lose and struggle. The Bears are somehow winning games, but they look meh at times. You have the Vikings, who have looked meh all season. The Lions looked like the team to take it, but if they're going to stumble like this, maybe they're also in the meh boat.
Yeah.
So this division will be kind of fun to watch down the stretch, just to see who decides to take it. So we'll see.
It seemed like a kind of light bulb went off for JJ McCarthy over the last couple of weeks. This was the first game felt like he didn't look like a deer in headlights.
I think it does help that he came back from injury.
Yeah.
As weird as it sounds, sometimes injuries mid-season that you come back from help quarterbacks. It's weird.
And I think this has helped. I would like it to not go well next week. That's I want him to do well career-wise. Next week, let's just calm down. All right, we all have dreams here.
I didn't realize you played them next week. That's fun.
Yep.
Well, okay.
Yep.
Fair.
But yeah, it was a good game. I was surprised at the final score and how that turned out. But it was, in fact, a good game.
I'm very surprised, but it was at least a good game.
And teams are allowed to have bad games. Maybe it was just kind of a
lot of teams this week.
Luke for the Lions.
A lot of good teams this week had bad weeks.
Well, let's talk about it. What other games this week did you want to talk about?
Well, I definitely want to talk about Bears-Bengals.
Yeah.
Because what the fuck was that? For reference, I'm pretty sure the Bears are winning their division now. If not, they're at least tied with the Lions.
That whole division has a winning record right now.
Yeah.
So it's Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago, Minnesota.
Okay.
Is their current standing.
Fair. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, this game was wild. That's all I can say, is it was wild.
It was the most confusing thing I have seen in a long time. Because I am pretty confident this is what it looks like, right? When you don't play defense. Like if they just trade offenses back and forth. This is what you get. Both teams had terrible defensive outings. But they put up so many points. It was just...
okay.
It was just weird.
Looking at it. One, on the Bears side, your offense looks really good with Ben Johnson at the helm. That's cool. Caleb Williams, 3 touchdowns, pretty efficient game. Didn't take a ton of sacks. Looked good. You then also threw the ball with DJ Moore and got a 2-yard touchdown pass to Caleb Williams. That's cool. This offense seems to be working well. Kyle Monangai, their rookie running back, who most people have probably never heard of, had 176 yards on the ground. That's really good. For a team I didn't think was going to have a run game this year, they found it. Colson Loveland, their rookie tight end, had a fantastic game. Obviously had the game-winning touchdown, which that play itself was insane. Like, your best receiver didn't get the ball that game, and you still had a fantastic game. Defensively, pretty, just not good. Just not good. You gave up 42 points to Joe Flacco and the Bengals. What's even worse is your defense didn't play well and had a forced fumble recovery and 2 interceptions, and you still gave up 42 points. So that's insane. On the Bengals side of things, Joe Flacco's at least working out for you. 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. You're not in that game without him. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
You have no rushing attack, so that's not good. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are probably the best wide receiver duo in the league. That was made pretty clear. And then defensively, I don't even know.
The train wreck. It's a train wreck.
How you allow the Bears and Kyle Monangai to have 283 yards rushing on the day is insane. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The Bengals have a ton of problems. This game was pretty insane. The fact that the Bengals came back. But it really just shows you neither team has a defense right now.
No. And at least the Bears made an effort. Do something at the trade deadline. Not sure what the Bengals plan is. It was a very exciting game. And I think if you're a fan of college football, big fan of that game.
Yeah.
It's weird as fuck. I understand that Flacco did throw 2 interceptions there at the end. That was kind of forcing it, trying to get something to happen. But when your defense can't get a stop, you really can't be turning the ball over. But also putting up 42 points should have been enough.
Yeah.
And by the way, both teams had missed field goals.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
It should have been higher. The Bears could have been in the 50s. So, pretty ridiculous. They're not good teams.
They're not. It's insane. The other game I want to talk about was the Panthers-Packers game.
Oh my god.
Because
oh my god.
You take the Bears-Bengals, which is this high-scoring, zero defense
offensive played, juggernaut,
to the Panthers and the Packers, which the final score was 16-13 in favor of the Panthers. The Panthers beat the Packers. What the fuck?
I don't know what either of those teams are. I'm so confused. I'm so confused.
I think the Panthers are exactly what they are. They're a run the ball. Bryce Young is... I don't even know what to call Bryce Young. Bryce Young's a game manager. You run the ball really well. You run the ball extremely well with Rico Dowdle, which is by itself a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
But sure, he's been the best running back in football the last 4 weeks. Well, I can't say that because Jonathan Taylor's been insane. But
yeah, okay. Minus that.
Beyond Jonathan Taylor, who was at like an MVP level, it was Rico
Yeah,
Dowdle. Um, which is insane to say, but like I don't know. This team is exactly what we think they are. They'll win games, they'll win tight games, they'll never blow a team out. They did blow out the Falcons, but I think that was a different situation. Um, they won't necessarily blow teams out, but they'll win tight games, but they won't win a lot of games.
I just want to know how the Packers are in a tight game with the Panthers.
I don't know, Dallas. I couldn't tell you. What I can tell you is the Panthers' offensive line was on something this game. I can tell you that. The Panthers' offensive line did something that no other team has ever done in the NFL, and that is hold Mike Parsons to 0 pressures in a game.
It's crazy. That's crazy.
And that's what you need to know. I do think the interception from the Packers defense was pretty decent in the red zone. Always like those. Um, they had 1 sack on the day, and it was from Xavier McKinney, their safety, who also had the interception. So that's not good. That itself is not good. Um, what I don't really, I think the problem was Jordan Love. Because if you look at it, Jordan Love, if you just looked at the stats,
Yeah.
Jordan Love had a okay game. 273 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Not great, but when you consider who Green Bay is, they are a running team. They're a rushing football team. So
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs had 87 yards and a touchdown. That's respectable on the ground. I think the problem is that if you watch the game, you saw the interception Jordan Love threw. Simply cannot throw that football. And I'm pretty sure the Panthers dropped another 2 easy interceptions. They had the one in the end zone that they dropped, and they had another one at like midfield that they dropped. Jordan Love did not play well. Like I I don't understand. I don't get this team. Like the Packers are a team I just can't figure out. To where they either are playing great football and are Super Bowl contenders, or they're trash.
Yeah. There's no in between. And I'm going to be honest with you. Unfortunately, it seems like they very much go as Jordan Love goes. But Jordan Love is not the most consistent quarterback. And he's not. He is a game manager, not a put the team on his back. Because with this roster and this capability, this should not have been a struggle. And
It just shouldn't have been a game.
when it is, I think there's only one person to look at.
Yeah. I The Packers are a weird one.
Because maybe the Packers' offensive line has some grudge against Micah Parsons. I don't know how you manage that. The rest of the league would like you to teach it to them. But the Packers' defense should not be able to hold you to that.
No. No. Like, again, though, there were missed field goals in this game. So
I
that would have
mean,
at least made it closer, more
sure,
entertaining. I mean, I want
but
to. Because he only missed one, right?
not a situation you should be in.
Yeah, they each missed a field goal.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. The Packers missed a field goal, and the Carolina missed a extra point.
Okay.
So, wouldn't have mattered.
So it wouldn't have helped.
Had they made both of those kicks, Panthers still would have won.
Yeah. So, just not sure.
I'm not.
I'm just confused. I'm confused.
The Packers, again, if they show up and have a good game, they look like Super Bowl
They're a great
contenders.
team.
But they are liable to lay an egg, like they did
Yeah.
against the Panthers. So, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening with both of these teams, really. Panthers are still in the hunt, as weird as it sounds.
I mean, sure. What the fuck? It's a weird season, people. It's a weird season. I'm confused.
And then, I don't have another game, but I have another thing to talk about.
Okay.
So if you have a game.
I don't. I mean, everything. Jaguars beat the Raiders. No surprise. Saints or Rams destroyed the Saints. Like everything went kind of the way I expected. Only one just
The Colts losing to the Steelers was weird, but I felt like that was just a bad.
What are you talking about? TJ Watt has decided to be prime Watt.
Yeah.
Against what has been arguably one of the best teams in football. Just explain it to me.
I think
I needed them to lose, and you just went fucking.
I think this is also just a bad game from the Colts, and the Steelers took advantage.
Pretty pissed. Don't know what's in the water in Denver, and why they suddenly have all of the, balls tipped their way. But he's been a great final drive quarterback, so I guess there's that.
They've been a great fourth quarter team. I don't know why they wait till the fourth quarter, but they do. It's fine.
I don't know. It's but no, as a game whole, I don't have anything. So go ahead.
The last thing I want to talk about comes from the Jaguars Raiders game.
Okay.
Because we had a record-breaking moment. Cameron Little.
God.
You missed this?
Yes. No, I just forgot. I'm sorry. No, you are right. You're right. 100%.
Cameron Little, the kicker of the Jacksonville Jaguars, broke the record for the longest field goal in NFL history. He kicked a 68-yard field goal, breaking Justin Tucker's record of 66.
Yep.
So there's a new.
Was a great moment. Look, as a Ravens fan, I'm not bothered. I think records like this are meant to be broken, and when it happens, it's incredible. Especially when it comes from unlikely places. We saw Monday night the Cowboys kicker, who's very talented, have the option or given the opportunity to tie that record, and he did miss it. So when those opportunities come and those players can take advantage, especially players that are often not recognized and not considered to be elite or super important, when they get their moment, that's awesome. So congratulations to him.
I think it's cool that he was the one that kicked the 70-yarder in preseason, and it doesn't count in the history books that he now has.
He has this.
He has it.
Yeah.
He's taken it back and has put himself into the history books. So really cool moment. So yeah. That was like it.
I knew about it. I saw it. I just forgot it had happened, gonna be honest.
That's unfortunate.
Yep. But happy for him. Always happy when when underrated players get the spotlight.
Yeah, but that was it. That was my
Yeah.
last bit of it.
I mean, that was pretty much the last interesting thing that happened.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, then we will look ahead to next week. Week 10 of the NFL. The Ravens are at Minnesota. 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern. Sunday football.
Cool. The Seahawks are at home against the Arizona Cardinals. That game is 1:05 Pacific, 4:05 Eastern. Yeah, talk more about it in a preview. But I think this could be a trap game for the Seahawks. We'll see. I also just don't want to get my hopes up. I can't.
That's fair.
Can't do it. I refuse to believe until it happens.
There is only one game next week where I have not seen either team play. So I am going to watch that.
Okay.
And it is the Saints at Carolina. I have not made a game of the week either of these teams yet. I don't want to do it now, but sticking with trying to watch every team, that is the game I'm going to go with. That is at 10 a.m. Pacific time on Sunday, so it's the same time as the Ravens game, and 1 p.m. Eastern. And we're just gonna... Maybe I can get an understanding of the Panthers.
Fair.
A good deep dive. And see what Tyler Shuck's got going on.
Fair. There are two games I could pick from that I think I could hit both two teams I haven't watched yet this season. And I'm going to go with the Giants and Bears.
Okay.
That's a 10 a.m. game. It was between that or the Berlin game. The only problem is I don't really feel like getting up at 6:30 in the morning to watch that. So
Sure.
I'm not going to make that my game of the week. So yeah, I'm going to go Bears, Giants. I'm not really sure what I'm going to be watching for, honestly. I guess I'll just be watching to see if that defense. Well, it doesn't really help because I don't think this offense is very good of the Giants.
Not right now.
So if the defense plays well and like the Giants are held, then okay. But if the Giants are scoring a bunch, then I think there are problems. It'll at least be interesting. Hopefully, maybe.
Valid. Alrighty. Well, any other sports news
I
information?
don't have
Anything you'll
anything.
watch? No. Okay.
No. It's been hockey.
A lot of hockey. I turned on basketball finally. I did do
I
that.
did watch some basketball. Probably end up watching more basketball tonight too. We'll see.
But it's hard when I have to pick between hockey and basketball. I pick hockey. So
You too.
alrighty. Well, yeah, and I had no random sports news. I think at this point, random sports news will probably wait until the Olympics. I don't know if we'll have anything between now and then.
I don't think we will, honestly.
Something comes up, we'll talk about it.
Talk about it. All right. Well, if we don't have any random sports news, I think that does it for us this week. Make sure subscribe, comment. Let us know pretty much anything at this point. Let us know how your team's doing. Who you got for college football going to the playoffs coming up soon. Your thoughts on the World Series. But beyond that, I think that does it for us. This has been Flox Next Sports Podcast. Thank y'all. I've been Brendan.
And I've been Dallas.
Thank you.
Bye.